Dun 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 dun. Bum 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 bum. If we would fall in love. Boom 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 boom. Okay, looks like we're live. We're gonna do a super quick stream. Oh no, you see my secret leveling spot. Oh no. Oh no, I didn't touch anything in this building. Well, maybe one thing, but oh no, you see my secret leveling spot. Oh no. Hi, Bug. Hi. Oh, that's my tummy. Oh, hi, Bug. I love my cats more than I love people. And I have very little love for people and a profound love for cats. So if you think about it, it's like easily like 98 and 2. Cats aren't mean. They've never been mean to me. They love me. People can be jerks and rude, and it hurts my feelings, and it makes me not want to participate in your society. You know, drives me nuts. Let me see. Oh, yeah, what up, Maga? Good morning. We're just doing a super quick stream. First, what do you think of the background? I did change it. And, let's see here. Oh, that's right, yeah. So we're just gonna do a real quick stream, because we managed to get our guys up to 30. We're gonna go to Dharma. I got a new spell, so it's throwing off my menuing. We're gonna go to Dharma, and we're gonna change our classes. Thank you, Maga. It took a little bit of work. It's the background from, the towers. And I think it looks pretty nice. I had to dull down the ivy a little, because the ivy was a little bright. I think it kind of helps the sprites blend in a little, too, all my little sticker sprites. Not that they needed to blend in, but I think it works. I think it works. So it also feels, and I'll make a note of this too, it also feels like the diminishing returns from leveling actually hits in around level 25. So when we get our next job class, we're going to see whether or not it has the law of diminishing returns at 25. And I will check a guide just to verify that, because if I can save like 3 hours of work overnight, like, I'm gonna do that. Oh wait, there's no sound. I'm an ass. Ooh, I'm getting used to not playing with sound on. Oh, me, silly goose. Let's get that back to where it should be. Make sure I'm not muted here. Oh. Damn headphones aren't plugged in. There we go. Completely not ready to stream for my 5-minute stream. Oh, and something else I wanted to note too, because I talked to him earlier. Look at this guy's dialogue in this translation, right? Now, in the other two translations I found, which are the official translations, he says, I want to be a young girl, tee-hee. In this version, he says, I want to be a young girl again. So I'm thinking that, I mean, I don't know Japanese. There is a slim chance that it's not as weird in the original translation. The way he phrases this sentence actually sets it up that, I'm sorry, that's a little loud in my ears. Let me turn that down some. Now, the way this is phrased in this particular translation, and it might be wrong, but this particular translation implies that he's already changed classes from a young girl to an old man, and then wishes to change back. I want to be a young girl again. Like he regrets his class change. And I think that's a very different dynamic. It's a hell of a lot less creepy, rather than the two official translations that I've played where he's like, I want to be a young girl, tee-hee. Because if he's already changed vocations, and just doesn't like his vocation, he changes back. That's the whole point why he's here. So it might not be as super creepy as it comes across in the originals. Might not be, because this is technically an unofficial translation. But I don't know Japanese, so screw it. Oh yes. way at the bottom. There it is. Yes. What? Excuse me? See, I was trying to defend the translation, it shoots itself right in the foot. Congratulations, level 1. Oh, what does that mean? Does that mean he took all the stuff off I can't use? Does that mean he gave me new stuff? Might as well do the other two while we're here. Why is he naming their personalities? That's so weird. He's definitely stating their personalities, because, Jessica is a sexy personality, but it has nothing to do with her being a sage. And Jennifer is a solitary personality, but that has nothing to do with her being a sage. Unless it's gonna change her personality too, and that would kind of be inconvenient. I mean, I was liking the levels they were getting. Up until we hit the mysterious level cap around 25, 26. Good morning, Snerd. How are you? Also, Maga, I apologize. I didn't ask how you were doing today. Is that everybody? Oh no, we needed Amanda. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he had no comment on that one. Huh. Let's see what happens if we bone it up real quick. Ah, you're locked in. So that's right, yeah, we have to wait till level 20 or something like that. Like 20 wasn't just a recommendation, it's a requirement. Although that's weird, that implies you can get here before level 20, and I would get slapped. I mean, I'm not that good at Dragon Quest games, but I would get slapped around trying to get here before level 20. Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Got some sleep. It's been a rough few days, like I've been saying, pretty much every stream. But yeah, it's doing pretty good today. Okay, now let's see what we got. First, let's take a look at this Sage Sprite. I haven't seen them yet in action. Oh, they're pretty cute. There we go. Let's zoom in on my video side here. 1 second. Oh, they are cute. I like the purple hair. I like dramatic and human hairstyles. Like this pink-haired girl here. I think that would be super cute if it was real. Purple hair, pink hair. Well, I suppose people dye their hair all the time. Well, you know what I mean. Just me being a silly goose. Hold on. Let's set that back to 1. So my computer doesn't melt. Okay, cool. Alright, now let's check their items. Huh. It de-equipped the things they can't use? And why did she have a force staff? He must have pulled the first applicable weapon out of the bag? Yeah, because she's back to a steel whip. Well, it's discreetly hidden under their clothing. You know. No kink shaming. Let me think. Okay, so I have to go and rebuy some things. It looks like I have to go back and buy 4 staffs for them. So that was my plan anyways, to go back to the next to last town, check the equipment I can buy, and then do that going backwards until I have all of their stuff up to snuff. So, Silk Robe, because she had to drop the flashy suit. Okay. We can't use iron axes anymore, but I guess that's understandable for the class. So we do have to do a little bit of rethinking on our weapons and such. Oh, speaking of which, can I change my class? Change me to like... Oh, screw it, change me to a sage. Yes. Me. Oh. Thought what a fool. Oh, Snurd, what do you think of the new background, by the way? I'm just trying it out. I like how it looks. It's not as boring as the black, but it does kind of mute everything else. Let's see. I simply will not allow it. Okay. No, I'm good. Oh, and I did check too. I can't drop off the hero like I could in the Green Boy color version. They patched that out, I guess. It's funny. Let's see. Yeah, it's kind of hard because, like, now the boat is a sky ship, and it kind of feels like the characters are kind of up in the air. So, I don't know. I think I'm going to try it out for a few days, see how it feels. But, I mean, I like the colors, though, because the colors of that background are nicely muted. So, it's a little more visually... something. It's a little more visually something than, say, just the black background, but... we'll see how it goes. I might switch back, depending on what everyone else thinks, too. What was I thinking of? Oh, yeah, we're gonna do the thing. Let's go do the thing. We did our thing. Let's do our thing. Thank you. 20. I'm gonna go punch some slimes. Sure as hell I can't walk around. We'll get murdered. Yes. Yes. Oh, before we do anything else, this is what I mentioned the other day too, so let's go... Okay, so from level 1, you keep all of your skills from the previous class. So Whistle was like level 7 or level 13 for the goof-off, but she already has it. They all already have it, which means once you have it, you keep it. You don't have to relearn it, which is super cool. I don't remember if that's in the Game Boy Color version or not, if I'm being honest. Let's see. Well, no, you had demoted. Oh, that's what else I wanted to do too, yeah. So it looks like... 106... 69 luck... 109 luck... It looks like our stats were almost halved. I didn't write them down beforehand, but they were definitely penalized, but our starting stats, it didn't start us off as a true level 1, so some of our stats rolled over. Like, for instance, luck, the HP is 75, the MP is 37. Like, I'm not rolling out at 0 kind of thing, so it definitely kept some of my attributes. And it did keep the personalities. Ordinary, solitary, and Amazon. Oh, let me see if she can equip the thing. Come on, work. Nice. Why am I going to heal? I don't need to do that. Did I burn through MP and not realize it? Yeah, a little. We still got a bunch, though. It's something that I think I alluded to in, like, one of the earliest streams on this game, was how mysterious it is that Dragon Quest, sort of behind the scenes, at least in some of the games, weights the female gender as the better gender. Like, this has a better overall stats. The sexy personality has the best growth rate. And then if you look at, like, the monsters, like a Kiss Dragon is stronger than a regular dragon. She Slime is stronger than a regular slime. Model She Slime is stronger than a model slime. It's a very interesting dynamic that behind the scenes, even though it's still a little pervy and it's still a little, definitely a little misogynistic, but at times they definitely gave better stats to female anythings. Like even Slims. It's very interesting. I'm very curious. I would love to pick the mind of the designers and really sit back and be like, well, why is it on, like, well, I get your culture. On the one hand, I see why you did Bikini Girls. But on the other hand, like, you gave them super cool stats? And then, canonically, as far as my excuse for all the bunny girls everywhere in the game, one, Prima Donna, a very strong regular human character you find that is a bunny girl, and then two, that bunny girls in Urusei Yatsura are a fourth dimensional class of being that are in charge of keeping time and space neat and orderly. So it's a trans-dimensional job class. And it just happens to be the uniform. Is a little pervy, yeah, but it's as a job uniform, it means you're doing a very important job. And I like to use that as my sort of, you know, cross-canon excuse for why bunny girls aren't as bad as everyone makes them out to be. But let's play the game. What am I doing? Spent like 20 of these 15 minutes talking. I was just here. What am I doing? My goodness. Baharata? What do we can get for an item? Give me some weapons. Give me some weapons. You can get Pepper here. Also, here we go. Oh, she can use Morning Stars. Ooh. Oh, but that's a lot weaker than what we're currently doing. What is she? She has a Force Staff right now. Yeah. NA, equipped. NA, so we can do... Can't do Steel Armor. 2 more Force Staffs. But I don't know if they use MP or not, but I guess it doesn't matter. And we got cash lying around at this point from all the leveling, so I'm not going to bother with reselling the other items. Just going to toss them in the bag in case the next job class we switch to can use them. Let's see, 4 staff, and alright, so those are all equipped, so it's 81, 78, 78. I mean, already I think that's stronger than they were previously. Because the Jester class is kind of a joke class. Wait a second, am I missing something here? Oh no, that's the Thief class that gets that skill. Thought I missed out on something. That would have been very sad. Let's see, I was already saved. Can't do that, can't do that. But they already have it. I can't do that. Have that. Can't do it, can't do it. And that's a drop. Let's go... Done. Let's now try the next closest town. Just to be on the safe side, but I think we inadvertently already topped out our gear. Super cool of Mr. Man to also give us the best weapons out of our inventory. Was not foreseeing that. You could swear in the Game Boy Color version you just de-equip all your items and it's like, good luck buddy, start over. That's a drop. But I don't know, maybe I can't equip it. What does that mean? Does that mean I can or can't equip it? Oh, the Steel Whip, yeah. Because that was already on the... Yeah. But it's not telling me if it's a drop down or not. Oof. Yeah, let me put everything in the bag. Just to be on the safe side. Steel Whip, toss it. Okay, so I can't equip it. And it would be a step up from... Oh, I'm out of my head. Iron Axe is an A, so let's just toss that in the bag. Steel Whip goes from 81 to 56. Iron Axe, can't use it, put it in the bag. Iron Axe, toss it in the bag. Is that everybody? No flashy suit, can't use that. Give to the bag. Oh, and I need a new, wait, do I? Is a silk robe the same as a magical skirt, though? Ah, jeez. Give to anyone else. Yeah, it's a drop, so I need a third magical skirt, too. Magical skirt, magical skirt, magical skirt. Oh, no, no magical skirt, magical skirt. Alright. Drop. Whipped. Pass, but we already established that. So, iron armor, iron shield, black coat. Alright, so there's nothing we can do here either. Which is fine. I need magical skirts. Does the item shop have it? Nope. Okay, next town. Let's see, we're in Portoga. Let's try. Well, screw it, let's try Isis. We did get our 30th mini medal, but it is for the strength ring and it changes our personality to a personality with a crappier growth rate, so we're not doing that. Just for reference. Hello, good sir. No magical skirt. Ooh, but they can wear helmets. That's cool. I gotta check my inventory though. See if I don't have any in the bag, just to be sure. Silk robes is a down and down. Where is the magical skirt? Where is the magical skirt? No way I could either find them. I must have been able to buy them because I have a bunch. Iron shield. Gotta be around somewhere. Alright, let's focus on anything else we can do here. That's a no, that's a no. Can't use it, can't use it. Let's drop. I gotta find one magical skirt, we already established that. Iron shield can't use. We can do iron helmets for 3 apiece for +6. Yes. 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 And that should be for Amanda, and we should be all set. Let's see, let's see. Has one? Has one? Doesn't have one. Perfect. Yes. No, I think we established everything else we can do in the store. I could check the item shop just to be on the safe side. Nope. I must have... Where did I buy it? Could have been in a Pachisi track. It's a very, very interesting mechanic. Like, there are whole guidebooks that, well, I say guidebooks, they're like 2 or 3 pages long, but there are really in-depth guidebooks to the personalities. Yeah, it's super interesting stuff. And I haven't really looked into it, but I suppose there's commentaries on personalities in general in there too. Like, it's like you said, the guy's a dick, so he's faster. I haven't actually looked at the personalities. Like, there's a jock personality, which I guess could be considered negative. And then there's all the stat penalties and stuff, too. Do I have that tab open somewhere? Yeah, here we go. Like an ordinary person has a normal growth rate, just 100 across the board. Like a tomboy has a penalty for 20. A unique personality has a penalty for 90%. So you have miserable intelligence, miserable agility, not great luck, but you have a slight growth in strength and a slight growth in vitality. So like being unique is seen as a really negative thing according to the game. And for instance, for the female-only category, being sexy is plus 70. It's the best one in the game. So it's a weird message to send. And, you know, it bounces back and forth like that, like plus 40, minus 10, minus 15, minus 50. A meddler personality is a terrible personality to have, but that kind of makes sense. And we got plus 60. A lucky personality is plus 60, but it's all in luck. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting stuff. And then there's books that change personality, and then as we know, accessories that change personality. It's super interesting stuff. Where is my OBS? There we go. Yeah, true. It does depend on translations too, doesn't it? Yeah. I think there is a collective understanding of community in the US. I just think it draws really arbitrary lines along race, class, and wealth. But that, just saying that in itself basically confirms your argument, so I guess, yeah, that's very true. Really just all there's to it. And just as a side note, I love the ideals that America strives for. I don't think any country's perfect, and I think that my country has a lot of flaws. Systemic, historic flaws that need to be rectified sooner rather than later, because it's been many years. In some cases, centuries for some peoples. Let me think. Yeah, if it's a freaky personality, yeah, that's totally true. And that's a very negative thing, but like freaks aren't bad people. It's just a lifestyle. I mean, a freak can also be a bad person, but the two aren't intrinsically tied. Let me think. Oh, right, wrong window. There we go. That should do it. Yeah, there we go. So let's try to track down this magical skirt, and then I'll just hop back off online and level like crazy. Maybe it was Ashlan? Because we're in Isis. That skirt's gotta be hiding somewhere. Maybe it was this guy? No, this is an item shop. Yes. Well, there it is. Now I just gotta talk him down to, I think it's 3,000 for a magical skirt? Nope. Nope. One more. Yes. I mean, my whole thing is like, everyone's personal life choices are their own personal life choices, and they have every right to them, unless you're actively harming someone else. Like if you're offending somewhere else, or you're persecuting someone else, or you're a proponent of a methodology or a manner of thinking that persecutes someone else, then it's not okay. But at the same time, justifying harm should be pretty black and white, but the more away you get from abuser to victim, there are some gray areas that come up, and I think that's an interesting place for debate. But basically, I don't think that someone who's offended or wronged should have to defend their position to say, because you did X, Y, and Z. I really think that's victim blaming, and I think that if someone does something that offends you, or hurt you in some manner, you have the right to say, I'm offended, and you have the right to some sort of discourse or resolution, whether it's an apology or an acceptance, but you shouldn't have to be obligated to come up with an argument of why you're offended. Like in a reasonable sense, like when you did X, I was hurt by it. That's reasonable. But when it turns into a back and forth of like, oh, well, I didn't mean it that way, well, that really is the end of the argument. Or like, as opposed to like a doubling down where it's something like, Oh, or something really passive aggressive where it's like, well, I guess I just won't do that anymore. I shouldn't do that. You know, that's obviously not welcome around here. And it's like, well, no, I'm just saying I'm offended. You don't have to take it there. And that's just based on how I personally handle things. Like if I accidentally offended someone, I would say it wasn't intentional first. You bring up a very valid case, and I apologize for what I did, and I'll seek to grow and learn from it in the future. And boom, done. And as long as I stay true to that word, because that's the second half, we're growing as a community. I'm growing as a person, and you get an honest answer out of me and an honest apology. If I were to double down or say, oh, you're just trying to stifle me, or the new thing that's big on Twitter is like, oh, you're just trying to censor my talk, like, this isn't helping. We're not coming to a conclusion. We're digging our argument hole deeper. And then especially on Twitter, like, we go back to our corners, and then like we rally our own troops, and then people are spamming each other's, you know, whatevers, and it's not helping. Whether it's political discourse or civil rights or human rights, like, or trans rights, it's and like I was saying, but I think it's not just our country, it's a lot of countries. It's based on wealth, and it's based on class, and it's based on race. And it's one of those really cool graphs where it's like the age of the particular class and the status of the particular class. And then as you go to the right, the age comes down, and as you go down the graph, the status comes down, and you see that like bright orange to like white scale, like one of those kind of graphs. I have no clue what that kind of graph is called, but I imagine that's roughly how it plots. Like the younger and more middle class the demographic becomes, the more accepting and tolerant, and then, you know, it's one of those graphs. That's all I got. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You're right to swing my arm, or it's right to swing your arms ends at my face. That's 100% what it is. Like, you can say you don't like a thing, but if you could say, I don't like you because you represent a thing, well, now it's different, you know? And I don't like the I was having a bad day argument. It worries me to hear people say that, because I'll freely admit I've come a long way as a person. And there were definitely times in my life where I could come home and say or do terrible things, and, you know, like even just being rude to people and saying, oh, well, I was just having a bad day. Well, it's like, well, no, you can't defend a negative action by saying you were having a bad day, because that's taking the stress you had at work, per se, and bringing it home to your family. Like, that's not okay. It's never okay. Like, you had a bad day at work, so you come home and kick the dog? What did the dog do? So, like, that's not a valid argument either. And that's one of those insidious things that people don't really think about, because everything is on the same scale of, I had a bad day, like my father. My father would go to the VFW, have a really bad time, have a couple of drinks, come home, and swear at my mother and me. That's on the same scale as, or threats of physical violence, which he used to do, which are on the same scale as, people that lose their temper in arguments or in social discussions or any sort of discourse. And it's like, well, I was having a bad day. And it's like, well, no, I can't really let you have a pass on that one, because that's on the same scale as my father saying he had a bad day at the V, coming home and hitting my mom. Like, we're not okay on this. Like, it's on the same scale. It brings up things for me. We can't say it's okay anymore. Like, me writing it off, one, is denying my experience, which isn't okay, and two, abetting your ability to use that as an argument to further harm other people around you. I really got off topic. We're playing the game. We got our magical skirt. That's the key thing. Right, magical. Here we go. Yes, and we're gonna toss the Silk What's It back in the bag. And we have the upgraded things. We can toss all the fur hoods back in the bag. Oh, no, no, no. There we go. And she can use a steel whip, which is what we were using before, so we're going to keep them. Something else that's hard too is when you grow up in an abusive household like that is like you don't understand what's right and what's wrong until you get an outside experience. It's like, no, your dad shouldn't be doing that, dude. It's like, what do you mean? It's what I've known my whole life. And he's like, yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, you shouldn't be behaving like that. You shouldn't live in fear. You shouldn't have spent your entire childhood in fear of abuse. Like, you have a really messed up personality now, and you're on a lot of medication because you're injured. Like, you're damaged inside. Like, you don't like conflict. You're extremely anxious. You're afraid of new people. You're afraid of going outside. Like, you're on a handful of medication. That's a sign something went wrong. And it's like, it took a long time to really come to terms with that. Which it shouldn't have, but when you live your whole life that way, it's completely different. And it's like when I had that revelation that I did live my entire childhood in fear of him. It was eye-opening. But heavy talk for a short stream. But that's okay, because I like streaming because I can talk about these things. And I feel like I have an audience. And I feel, especially with the, I think it was a recent Twitter hashtag, it was something like talk about things or talk about somethings, but it was all about stuff like that. It's like, talk about your experience. Let's let's try to change the discourse. Have an open and honest discussion about how you feel, who you are, things that happen to you, all that stuff. And I thought it was a really cool hashtag. I didn't jump in on it, but yeah, it's really jarring. It's 100% jarring. Like, I understood it as the norm, but I only grew up in a family once, so yeah, it took a lot of adjusting, and it took a good deal of therapy and, you know, a decent amount of medication that I'm still on just to try to get me back to a healthy normal. And I'll completely admit that, like, I'm not normal. I'm not okay. I went through a lot. There are a lot of scars, and it's probably going to be a lifelong thing. It's like, I don't know, it's like having diabetes, but in your brain, you know? There's not too much you can do about it, but just treat it, hope for the best, try to be watchful of things that happen, you know? Like, I don't realize I'm depressed until I've been lying on the floor for 2 weeks. And it's like, wait a second, like, I got bills to pay, what have I been doing, you know? It's like, it's one of those things where, I mean, that's kind of an exaggeration, but you understand what I mean, where it's like you don't realize you're depressed until you're like in the thick of it, and it's like, wait a second, I haven't gotten off the floor in 2 days, you know? And it's like, well, that's actually pretty bad. And it is so much adjusting to get used to. It's like, oh wow, that's actually my anxiety. Like, that's why I've been doing that the whole time. Like, that's my paranoia. That's why I've been doing that the whole time. That's my fear of other people. That's why I've been doing that the whole time. It's really interesting. Hell to go through, but interesting. Alright, so we have magic shield, magic skirt, force staff, force staff, force staff. Let's see how the force staff does in battle, though. Oh, I gotta go somewhere where I'm not gonna get murdered because I'm a level 1. Well, actually, my defense is 161. Oh no, that was hers. 78, 76, 75. So it's slightly less than the class I was already dealing with. Stamina, yeah, I want to say there was definitely a stat penalty there. That's okay, though. That's okay. We'll try going back to Eliahan and see if Blue Slime's murderous. And so I won't actually fight. And I'll see... She is able to carry the load, but I'm worried that, like, if I go back to where I was already fighting,
that even though she can take out, say, 3 of the 4 monsters I'm facing, that the 4th one will just do something ridiculous like Fireball and murder my 3 compatriots. And I've been doing an excellent job of keeping them alive. Or when the once or twice they did die while I was leveling, I just ran away from battle, went straight back to the priest and said, hey, I got a coffin, can we do something about this? And they're like, yeah, 2,000 gold. Like, you know, whatever. Because I want to keep this, like I was saying the other day to Ethan, that I like to keep my levels all the same. So their experience, as we can see here, it's oh, well, now it's back down to 0. But my what I like to do in my brain, part of the OCD, which is part of everything else, is keeping all their levels nice and clean, so they all level at the same time. Like they'll all reach level 1, then they'll all reach level 2, that kind of stuff. I'm a silly goose. And they have heal too, which is a great spell to start out with. And their MP bank is pretty good too, if I recall. Yeah, it is pretty good. Alright, so I'll have her parry. But I imagine they're more than strong enough to take them out. Now that I'm thinking about it, what are they? 4 steps, that's right. We were testing the 4 steps. So 37, 47, 42. Let's see what happens. It does use MP to swing that. But it's hitting for 40, which is already so much stronger than they were doing. I wonder what happens when they empty MP, though. So if they're hitting for 40, so their defense is probably pretty good, so that would be... Let's try one more test. Ashlam's probably... or Isis and Ashlam are probably going to be a challenge. Let's try... I don't want them to get murdered. Their defense is pretty good, though. Let's try Ashlam first. Edge on the side of caution. Try to fight something outside of town. Oh, no, no, not her. 28, 34, okay. I need one of them to bop. 6, okay, not bad. So for a level 1, they're still pretty good. That's awesome news. So yeah, you were right about that, Snert. They are doing pretty well, even though they're only level 1s. Level 2s, forgive me. Oh no, stamina though. Oof. Stamina +1, expel. Stamina +0. Learns expel. And double check that that was muted. Oh, there we go. Oh wait, gotta alt tab out again. I'm thinking of changing my good night screen too, because right now it's the kitty. There we go. Right now it's the kitty. I was thinking it was thinking of changing it to the main character from Eizouken smirking with that weird little goblin face she has. We'll see. I don't know. It's just, you know, screwing around for fun, messing around with like paint and stuff. It's fun stuff to do. Alright, so they're pretty good here. I don't want to put them in any extreme situation, but I think we could try... Isis is a bastard because of those crabs. Let's see what happens in Baharata. I do have heal more if we need to fall back on it. Annie girl, good morning, honey. Good morning, baby. Hi. I don't know if you can hear her meowing. She's a cute little thing. She's my baby. Hello, baby. Hello. And we found a new discovery the other day that I took yesterday. I was taking photos of her. She was looking out the window toward the sunlit backyard. Her eyes are actually getting a very slight tinge of blue on the very, very inner edge where they have that faded green. So for my cat to have yellow or gold with green, and then just the littlest touch of blue in her eyes, like, oh, my heart. Could she get any more beautiful? I am not impartial on this. My BB. Hello, BB. My good girl. Give me like 5 more minutes. We're gonna end stream, and we'll get you a bunch of snacks. How's that sound good? Does that sound good, BB? You just go, BB. You cooking yet, baby? Yes. You good girl. I love you, honey. In 5 minutes, okay? Okay. Yes, we're gonna check. Get some mountains down here, wiggle a little. Oh wait, I have the whistle spell. Why am I wiggling? Ugh. I'm bad at this. I'm still gonna go with a parry. We got a spell, we got expel and heal. I'm looking forward to a an offensive spell like well, even a fireball would be better than nothing. Although we do have wizard staffs. Actually, did I check the wizard staff? Maybe I should check the wizard staff and see if there's any advantage to using that. 30 damage, okay. Amanda takes 7. Okay, that's decent. Oh, wrong one. The big thing with the 4 staffs is it slowly burns MP. I don't know if I wanna see how that does. I think I'll do that offline, as we'll see how that does with, using up the MP down to 0. Yeah, see this again, stamina +1. I don't know if this is a sage thing, or a level balance thing. It's probably a level balance thing. Change is hard. It's been the theme of the entire experience with this stream. Stamina! Let's say... it's unrelated, but there is a YouTube channel called Cream Heroes, and it's about this woman who had terrible depression, and one day she adopted like a cat, and it changed her life, and now she's got these like, I want to say it's like 5 beautiful cats, and she and her partner take care of them, obviously, and they have their own YouTube channel, and she occasionally talks about how getting the cats completely changed her life and how she went from someone who was incredibly depressed to having a deeper sense of meaning to life and is a happy person now, and how much she loves her cats and all that other fun stuff. But the key thing I'm getting at is that the one cat, Chairman Momo, he frequently stands on his back 2 legs and holds whatever you're trying to give him with his front 2 paws. And she speaks only South Korean, so it's all this cute and adorable South Korean language. But like any culture, she knows a few foreign words, and one of them is stamina. So whenever Chairman Momo does something that is like physically, I wouldn't say taxing, but use of physical effort, like the standing on 2 legs instead of 4, and she says stamina. It's so cute. Cream Hairs is a great and soothing channel for people that like cats. Alright. I gotta use up those heal spells or something and try to get my MP down. I just went to an end. God, I'm an idiot. I could have him just endlessly cast heal once we're done with this battle, so let's do that. I'm curious how much the attack situation changes. And we are kind of getting levels, so... 4, 8, and 1, not bad. There's some stamina, that's a +5. There's a 1, But then again, that could also be somehow tied to their personality. The game has very, very complex dice rolls in the background. Did Jessica learn? See, now there's a +4. Not bad. I don't think... Yeah, she didn't learn upper. And she does have Blaze. No one told me this. Thank you, game. Blaze and upper, okay. Blaze and upper, okay. But not for Jessica. That's interesting. And they are all level 4, right? I mean... Yeah, 4, 4, 4, yeah. Stamina. Yeah, so we'll real quick, we'll just cast heal ability. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Let's get out of this fight real quick. Blazing upper. Just throwing levels at us like candy. Stamina 2, okay. Ooh, Ice Bolt. Wait a minute, she learned Ice Bolt, but she didn't learn upper? I gotta double check that. Stamina 0, okay. Learns Ice Bolt. And marijuana is legal in my state now. We're looking into, or the state is looking into, they have a committee set up. They're looking into figure out how to reasonably tax it and distribute it and growing it and all that other fun stuff. So it's still stuff that's a little down the line, but we fucking voted for it, damn it, and we won. It was overwhelming support. It was like 80% of people in my state, and my state is barely blue, red, blue? Well, the Democratic Party. So we're like barely blue in my state, and but still, it's like, yeah, why not? I mean, you know, you can buy the only other thing we need to get rid of is goddamn blue laws. I want to be able to go to a Walgreens or to a Wawa and get a box of Franzia wine. I shouldn't have to make 3 stops in one fucking town. Just saying. 3 stamina. Speed up and Ice Bolt. See, these spells are all over the place. This is wonderful. Still no upper. Blaze upper Ice Bolt. Blaze upper Ice Bolt. And were they out of Heal Expel, right? Heal Expel, right? Heal Expel and speed up. What the hell? Speed up. Oh, it's 2 different sheets for their spells. There's the mage sheet and there's the cleric sheet. That's what's confusing me. Okay, yeah. So it's weird. There's an interesting disparity between the spell sets, because that's your mage set, that's your cleric set, right? That's your mage set, that's your cleric set. Oh, back out, there we go. But on this one we're missing upper, right? And then on this one, we have speed up, and then the other 2 are missing upper. So it must be like within like probably a 3-level roll, I'm guessing, of like you can learn it at level 4 or level 5 or level 6. That's really sounding familiar in my head. Maybe I read that in a guide at some point. Moved from Washington after they legalized and privatized liquor sales. That place was dope. So then in that state, if it was privatized, that means that before then it had to be from like a state-run store to buy liquor or booze or beer. That must have been so awkward, because it's like in my state, for instance, they're not state-run stores, but they are they have to be their own separate store. So a liquor store, basically. And it's so interesting how state laws can be so different on that stuff. or even county laws. Like when I drove down to Marion, North Carolina to buy a bag of rocks, like 15, 16, 17 years ago, I drove down to Marion North, like drove straight through the night, 13 hours to buy a bag of rocks. And it was a very long drive, and I got into town, and it was late, but it was still early. It was like 9 o'clock. I got into town, and I said, is there a bar around here? And she said, son, where are you from? I said, I'm from New Jersey. And she said, I have some bad news. You're in a dry county. I'm like, what? And she's like, you cannot drink in this county. Would you like a cookie? And I was like, yeah, yes, I'd like a cookie. Because they had fresh baked cookies at the front desk. Like, yeah, I'll take a cookie. And I went to my room, and I went to sleep. Oh, don't even get me started on wage disparity. Like, we saw it, like, even on, it was just recently where, it was the guys on Reddit, I want to say, that, you know, made a raid party, like World of Warcraft, and just blew up a certain stock. And that stock was then frozen by the trading app, and then there were reports of it being illegally sold without their permission. All that other fun stuff. It's a big... Ugh, but wage disparity, wealth disparity, class disparity, like, I get that there is a class that there is in power that wants to maintain that power, but, like, you could give us some fucking breadcrumbs, bro. Like, it was a recent thing that was passed in legislation, something about, the minimum wage is going to be $15, but it's going to be $15 by 2025. Like, by 2025, it's not a living wage anymore. If you look at the graphs, by the time we get to 2025, paying someone $15 an hour is going to be paying them $8 an hour. We're not gaining anything. Like, we need $15 now. We're going to need $20 an hour in the future. Or you need to rework your graphs and talk about profit, cost, benefit, CEOs that make billions, or during a pandemic make billions and trillions. Like, we need to talk about those things. So a breadcrumb of $15 an hour in 2025 is not going to be a living wage, because it's currently not a living wage. Minimum wage in every state is not enough to live alone. You cannot rent an apartment. You cannot own a house. It was something I want to say. It was a bigger publication too. I don't think it was the New York Times, but somebody in a legitimate publication did the research and made the assertion that working minimum wage, you cannot afford to live anywhere in the United States on minimum wage. And that is working 2 jobs. It cannot be done. And that's a systemic problem. That is a huge problem, because the whole American dream bullshit is like, oh, if you work hard, you'll be able to get ahead. You'll be able to have a nice house and a nice car. Like, say that to the guy that's been, you know, that got a college degree that's $300,000 in debt with a degree he can't use, flipping burgers at McDonald's, doing harder work than most CEOs and executives, or even middle managers, doing far more work than he'll ever be asked to do in any other job. That's making, you know, $8.75 an hour. Like, let's talk about his wage before we talk about, you know, oh, the Republicans are angry that some kids, you know, put together a Warcraft raid party and, you know, screwed over a hedge fund. Like, those are tactics that hedge funds use to manipulate the market, and they're just angry that somebody else figured out their strat and is using it. I'm ranting. There's just so much injustice in the world. And think about that too. It was something that was posed on Twitter the other day, and it's like, imagine this: you're hungry, you're driving home, you don't want to make something to eat, so you go to a place that's known as a fast food joint. You go in, you go through the drive-thru, you place your order, they take your money, and by the time you get to the second window, in about 2 or 3 minutes, depending on the franchise location, etc., an entire team of people have mobilized to make you a double quarter pounder with cheese. Within 3 minutes, you have your food. It is unreasonable and incorrigible to expect to pay that person less than the minimum wage when they went to all that effort to fast prep you a reasonably nutritious meal in 3 minutes. But you're going to pay them $8.50 an hour. But their boss or the franchise owner, you're going to give him, you know, 6 digits or whatever, 5 to 6 digits, depending on franchise location. And all he does is sit at his desk for like 4 hours a day? Like, that's not right. Oh yeah, it's the same, like, that's one thing that I like that the internet has changed about things, is growing up from not the internet to the internet is, like, we can see through their bullshit now. Oh, it's outside actors, or oh, it was Russia. Or, oh, it was like, no, we got receipts. We just, you know, we did it because we wanted to, and we're gonna assert our dominance just like you've been fucking us over for the last, you know, since we had a stock market. So I'm glad they rose up. I'm glad. And there are Redditors that are holding out and saying, I'm not going to sell. I don't care. I'll throw my money in the dumpster. It's not like I make money anyway. I bought one stock and that's all I could afford. I'm not giving you your money back. I don't care. But then you have the app itself that's like, well, due to market volatility, we're selling all your stocks without your permission. It's like, whoa, you can't do that either. But then again, that's calculated risk. It's like when they get hit with a class action lawsuit for pulling something that garbagey, they can do a cost-benefit analysis of like, well, we're going to have to lose a class action lawsuit. We sold X amount of stocks for X amount of people. It's going to cost X amount of money to pay those people back for their losses. But will the hedge funds, you know, compensate us better for that? So they do a cost-benefit analysis, and then that's the end of it. So they do something that should be tacitly illegal, but they can get away with it because that's terms of service. And it's just a whole... it's a room full of mousetraps when crap like this happens, but I still deeply appreciate when the people rise up and say, this isn't okay. And that's what gets protesters beaten in the street. Just saying this is not okay. But that's a whole nother worm that we could go down. Oh, we gotta use up our magic, that's right, that was the whole point. I'll just keep using up my MP. Oh, it's not using it up anymore, she must not be damaged. Oh, I keep doing that. But I did de-stress yesterday. I spent a majority of yesterday not even leveling up. I spent a majority of yesterday reading a book about, well, the particular chapter I'm on is about ship cats. It's a book about cats. Who knew? And it's wonderfully beautiful, wonderful moving, and I'm sitting there reading the book, crying, and my cat's lying in the sun just being an absolute angel, and I look at her and I'm crying because she's beautiful and I love her, and it's just like, it was very therapeutic. Okay, she still has 2 MP left. How do I burn 2 MP? Maybe in... oh, well, just attacking in battle should burn the last 2 MP. And then we can just test and see what happens. Let's say parry. We'll have her fight. And parry, and parry. That should use up the last 2 MP. And she hit for 37. So let's see what happens now. That tongue bear's gotta stay alive. Come on. Come on. 43. Did more damage and didn't use any MP. So basically, if you have MP, it's going to use it. If you're out of MP, you're still going to hit just as hard. You just don't have an MP penalty because you're already at 0. I don't like that it costs MP. I mean, it's a decent weapon. We could probably switch to the steel whips, though. Just get through this fight and then we'll compare the numbers. Because I don't need a direct strike weapon anyway. I should be focusing on whips and boomerangs. Let's see. Ooh, that's like a third penalty. Or like a quarter to a third penalty. But then again, it's a steel whip, so if for one creature I'm hitting for 26 instead of 32, or if it's a group, I'm hitting 26, 22, 18, 14. That's still, economically, that's still a hell of a lot more damage. So I suppose I could switch to the steel whips. It would certainly work for groups, and it wouldn't rob my MP every strike. So maybe I'll do that instead. But either way, my super early stream, we established the science we needed to establish, and it was wonderful talkie time. So I think I'm going to end it there. Thank you very much for coming out. And thank you, deeply thank you for the excellent conversation. I love when we have good conversation like that, when I'm just BSing with Dragon Quest. It's a good time. Yeah, I think that'll do it for me. But it's 9:30-ish, so thanks for coming by. We'll see. We'll see if I can fit in another stream today, because now I have a lot of grinding to do in the background. But thanks for coming by, and I'll hopefully see you later today.